I will show you the world's most bizarre looking countries and what caused them to be shaped the way they are. The last country has an incredibly odd shape. The first strange looking country is Chile, which is an extremely long and narrow country stretching across the western coast of South America. The shape of Chile makes it home to many contrasting landscapes, from the dry Atacama Desert in the north to the fjords and glaciers in Patagonia in the south. The reason why Chile has this shape is a result of colonial territorial agreements, military conquests, and geography. The Andes Mountains form a natural border to the east. The next country is Panama, which is a sideways S-shaped country where you're never far from the coast. In some parts of Panama, you actually have the Pacific Ocean to the east and the Atlantic Ocean to the west. The shape of Italy is instantly recognizable and famously looks like a boot. Did you know that Italy has two other countries inside of it, Vatican City and San Marino? Another country with other countries inside of it is South Africa. The shape of South Africa is relatively normal looking when looking at it on the world map, but when looking at it on its own, we see two large gaping holes inside of it. The larger of the two is Lesotho, which is completely surrounded by South Africa, and the smaller is Eswatini, which in addition to South Africa also borders Mozambique. Lesotho and Eswatini were both British protectorates until they became independent. Namibia's shape is almost rectangular, and its most notable feature is the Caprivi Strip extending to the northeast. Germany, which used to control the area that now is Namibia, negotiated with Britain to gain access to the Zambezi River, believing it would lead to trade routes to the east. Namibia's neighbor Zambia is remarkably similar to Namibia in that its shape is also influenced by colonial border negotiations. This time it was between Belgium and Britain, where Belgium insisted on controlling the Luapula River region. Cameroon has a triangular shape which reflects its colonial past. Germany originally controlled Cameroon, and its territory was almost the same as it is today. When Germany lost World War I, the colony was split between Britain and France. When French Cameroon became independent, part of British Cameroon voted to join it, while another part voted to become part of Nigeria. The shape of Mali resembles a right-angled triangle with a small tail, which is a result of French colonial borders. Very few people live in the desert regions of northern Mali, and since there are few natural landmarks like rivers or mountains, the borders were drawn to be much straighter than in the south. The country of Brunei is made up of two parts that aren't connected to each other by land. Brunei used to control a bigger part of the island of Borneo than it currently does. Over time, the surrounding territories were absorbed into Malaysia, leaving Brunei isolated in two parts by the time it became an independent country in 1984. Croatia's shape looks like a dragon curving around Bosnia and Herzegovina and stretching along the Adriatic Sea. The shape is largely due to its historic role as a frontier against Ottoman invasions, combined with later Austrian and Hungarian border decisions. The last country, which in my opinion is the most bizarre looking, is essentially a narrow strip of land surrounding a river. During colonial times, the British controlled this river as a key trade route, while France controlled the surrounding land, what is now Senegal. The borders of this last country were drawn in an agreement between the British and the French to be about 10 kilometers on either side of the river for most of its length. The country I'm talking about is the Gambia.